but still, it was enough for the bronze medal. So they should be a bit happy.
This the lineup for the men's quadruple sculls. World champions Australia last year in Bled, and they also own the world best time of 5:36.2. Was Christopher Morgan, James McRae, Carsten Fosterling and Daniel Noonan. Italy challenged from lane number 1 over on the far side. Silver medalists a couple of years ago, Italy, and Olympic champions back in Sydney 2000. France, well, another really disappointing performance last year. 13th, that means they won the C final. 3 of that boat returned. Croatia, world champions in Carapiro, this very young, talented quartet. Bronze medalist last year. Germany, silver medalist last year. The same quartet that competed in Bled. Estonia, well, they were 16th last year, but never write them off. They're a crew that can do some real damage early and late. And then finally, Russia without Fedorovtsev, the mainstay of Russian quads, the man who was in the boat when they surprisingly won the gold in Athens 2004. Well, that is a pretty even start.
Pretty even start, just a tad bit on the slow side from Germany. I'm pretty surprised to see one crew missing from the final, a crew with a lot of pedigree on their side, Poland.
Well, Poland, winners of the World Championships in 2005, 6, 7 and 9, and an Olympic gold medal in 8, but have the years caught up with them. They were only 6th in the first of the semi-finals, and also another crew who we might have expected to be in, Great Britain, who missed out as well. Matthew Wells, Steve Robotham, Charles Cousins and Marcus Bateman.
Yeah, and as I understand, that 5:39.11 that they rode is the fastest British quadruple time ever. Still, it wasn't enough for the final. That says something about the quality of this field.
Does indeed, and as we get underway in the first 250 meters, closest to you will be the Russians, Estonia, and then stretching out to Italy on the far side. Italy with Rosano Galtarossa, some really familiar names in that boat. But we'll look at Germany now. Tim Grohmann in the stroke seat, and the crew that really I want to focus on here are the Croatians. Bronze medalists last year, didn't quite go right in Bled, but, you know, superb crew who graduated through the under-23 rankings where they were dominant as well.
Yeah, and they were very impressive in the heats, especially. They raced on the semi-finals, actually. They raced to 5:39.64, which is just 0.4 of a second outside the world best time, and that says something about your shape early in the season.
So Russia on the near side, Nikita Mogachev, Alexei Svirin, Igor Salov and Rybachev. Vladislav Rybachev in the bow seat, and that's 3 of last year's crew. It's Fedorovtsev who's the man who's disappeared.
Yeah, and it's actually a surprise that Russia is in this final. We have to go back to 2004 to see the last crew of Russia to perform very well, winning the Olympic championships in the Olympic Games in Athens. So the fact that they're here is okay. It's a good sign, and that they're leading after 500 meters. That's a good sign as well.
The other, but on the counter side, of course, Russia, who with various anti-doping infringements and disarray a few years ago, I mean, it actually has resulted in a complete necessity to rebuild and restructure.
And well, can we conclude that they're a little bit back on track towards rebuilding that former glory?
Not at the moment, not numerically by the number of crews that they're actually getting into competitive positions in the regatta. No, you couldn't say that.
And right now they're dropping back as well, so it was a quick start by Russia, fading into the second half of the race. Germany taking over at the 1,000-meter mark.
What do we say? Flatter only to deceive.
Exactly.
So over Croatia now beginning to really get into this. Germany at the moment. There's lane 3 Croatia. They're the two bows vying for the advantage there, and they are vying at the moment. The white bow of Croatia, the yellow of Germany, and Croatia just with the edge, just behind there Estonia, Kasper Taimsu in the stroke seat, Tonu Hendrickson, Ala Raja, Andre Jamsa, really experienced crew.
And Croatia and Germany matching each other almost stroke for stroke. Croatia just a pip higher than Germany, just in 36, and Germany in 35. And it's Croatia moving away slowly, slightly more efficient in driving the boat in the underwater.
They're just getting a better length, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just slightly more. It's I think the crew just had a very big disappointment last year. Just a few races where they couldn't really get up to par, get up to that form that they had, that shape that they had previously. And right now they're showing that they're up there again. That's a good sign.
Valent Sinkovic in the stroke seat, Damian Martin, and then Martin Sinkovic and David Sane in the bow there for Croatia. And, you know, this is a young crew. This is a crew that could easily be successful right the way through the next Olympic cycle up to Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, they just literally they just left the ranks of the under-23s. I think they're about 24 years of age on average, 25 maybe. Yeah, and they've just opened up a gap towards the Germans who were dominant last year.
Interesting that Poland really, it was quite interesting with Poland because they did say, you know, they multi-world and Olympic champions, but, you know, in Carapiro in 2010, they decided to not go to Australia. They thought that was too much of an exertion. They won the European Championships in Montemar and then said, right, that's our target for the season. But after 2010, they just haven't come back at all, really, and shown anything.
Yeah, speaking of coming back, Germany launching a final sprint to the line, but it's too little, too late. Croatia, hands in the air, very happy with that win in the first World Cup of the season. And Germany coming in second. Estonia, the ones you mentioned before as the crew to look out for, third. So a great result from them. And fourth, fifth, and sixth, respectively, for I think it was France getting in fourth. No, it wasn't France. It was Italy getting in fourth, then Russia, and then France in sixth.
Yeah, professional job by the Croatians there. And Estonia, well, they were third in the World Championships in 2005 and 2006, and that's sort of maybe where they are at the moment. But again, when you start to bring in, you know, crews from countries who are not participating, they're likely to have to raise their game. I think for me, the disappointment is really the Italians who, if you go back in history, always had such really good men's quads.
2000 Olympic champions.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, in the 90s, you could always, you know, reckon that they'd have a solid challenge.
Yeah, something went wrong in Italian rowing.